People should feel like they're walking in like the middle of a conversation, you know?
Yes.
Oh, by the
Exactly.
way, I don't know, if, Greg, if you've ever seen like the YouTube version of this show when there's 3 people. But I mean, the way the video layout is, I'm turned one way and Corey's turned the other way. So it kind of looks like we're facing each other, even though, Okay. And so when there's 3 people, we're going to be like that. And then you're going to be underneath us. So if you can kind of just try to, look up the whole time. It'll just look better on
like at the Brady Bunch type thing.
Exactly.
It's a good way to smooth out the double chin anyway. So
No.
Yep. I mean,
I always have the camera up a little bit anyway.
as I feel like time goes on, my camera angle gets a little bit higher and higher and higher.
Well, anyway, Greg, we have you on the show this week, mostly because when it was just me and you the last time, to quote Azim from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Corey whined like a mule. Because
that was
there was a little,
I listened to it.
There was a little jealousy going on there. Yeah. So,
I'm down for the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves quote. If you had asked me to guess like which movie you'd be quoting right at the start of this, I probably wouldn't have got that in like 1,000 guesses.
That's like his best line. He goes like, and I don't even remember the context, but he just goes, "You whine like a mule. You are still alive."
You are still alive. I remember that.
Even with Kevin Costner's bad accent, that's still a good movie, in my opinion.
You know what? You just had to ignore the fact that his accent sucked and have fun with it.
Yeah. I saw that when it came out, and I didn't even think for a second that his accent like meant anything.
Well, we were kids, right? So we weren't really. It's not what you're really paying attention to.
I was just finishing up 6th grade.
Damn.
I was basically the exact same age as my daughter is right now.
Wow. I forgot, Greg. How old are you?
I'm 47.
All right, so 47, 46, and what are you, Corey? 44.
44, but I will be 45 in 3 months.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't know. 45.
baby.
I'm 44 and 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just wanted that,
Yeah. How many months is that? When you say how a baby's age.
Oh, God.
So you're like 12 times 44, which is 440, 528, 530, or 537 months, if I did the math correctly.
That's some quick math. I'm impressed.
It's impressive.
Yeah. I've never been a math guy.
Speaking of
Math and
40s,
science for me.
this is episode 43 of Here's My Question for You.
It's not. I think it was just 43 before, and now it's 44.
That is incorrect, sir.
I just listened. I was just listening to the last published episode.
That's 41.
Today.
41. Yeah, 41.
It was 41.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is what aggravates me. We had a whole conversation about how it was the Jackie Robinson episode.
Yes.
He was number 42. I talked about Mariano Rivera. Where are you?
I don't know. I've had my head in this video edit all day.
Yeah.
And
hey, I just wrapped up.
That's it.
Speaking of video stuff, I just wrapped up shooting the latest episode of YouTube's Hottest New Show, and I forgot to call it YouTube's Hottest New Show. I'll still put the thing on the thumbnail, though. Don't worry. But
yeah, you should just pop it up anyways.
Yeah.
What?
The hot new. You just gotta
pop it up in the video.
No, I will. But I just felt bad because I'm just like, I was like, whenever I start a video, I'm like, I don't know what, because I always have to avoid saying like, hey guys, and so like I don't know what to say,
Well,
but
what
I
you
totally
should do
forgot
is
about saying welcome back to YouTube's Hottest New Show. I just completely forgot.
What you should do is, I see that people do this a lot when they maybe record something, and they like say something wrong. Either they will pop up the correct information in text on there, or you can hard cut to you on your phone saying, hey, this is YouTube's Hottest New Show.
I'm definitely not doing that. But.
Oh, do that. Come on.
I think it'd be real funny if you did that.
Yeah.
And you can pop it in.
I'll figure something out. I want to start what's the name of that service where you can like pay celebrities to say things?
Oh,
Cameo.
Yeah,
it's Cameo. I want to start doing that. I'm going to start paying. That's where I want my Patreon money to go every month, is to get like B-list celebrities to say like, hey, I'm
you know, you can put
podcast-
yourself on there.
I'm
Yeah, on our
Xander
podcast,
Berkeley, and you're watching YouTube's hottest new show.
On our podcast, we totally paid a bunch of people through Cameo to congratulate us, like B-list celebrities to congratulate us on the show.
Oh, who'd you
Yeah.
get?
Like it was some milestone. I don't know if it was like 750 or 10 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But we ended up just buying a bunch of Cameo appearances.
From who?
Yeah.
I need to know
I don't
who
even
now.
I don't even remember all the names. I think the biggest one was not the biggest one. The one I remember is what the hell's his name? He's in Encino Man and
Pauly Shore?
Pauly Shore.
Wow.
We
You
got
got the
Pauly Shore to
Wheeze?
Yeah. We got him to
Wow.
congratulate us on our amazing podcast milestone.
I'm
was
just
awesome.
I'm concerned because you're doing an audio thing, I do a video thing. Like if I get the video, is it going to have like a watermark on it or something? Because that's
Do
lame.
not remember. It was a while ago.
What's the line from Encino Man where not Brendan Fraser, but what's his face from the Goonies and Sean Astin says.
Sean Astin
tells him like all you care about is nugs, something, and grindage. Like that's like I can't remember what the.
I've never seen Encino Man.
I was gonna look it up
Neither have I.
so that I could say it correctly, but I backed out of the tab.
Well, just after we're done with the show, get your phone out and do it, and I'll punch it into the.
Yes, I'll do that if you do it in yours.
No, I'm not doing that.
Be like what I meant to say.
Yeah. I went on some whole thing in the beginning of the show talking about Gradius. Oh, because the show I did Gradius, PC Engine Gradius.
The first one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's a good
but on the
version of that
PC.
game.
But talking about Gradius versus Gradius.
It's Gradius.
It is Gradius, yeah.
Yes and no. So in Japan, it's Gradius. And now that, unlike you, because, I wasted my time sending you links you're not going to use, I can read Katakana. I can see that it says Gradius. And I would then took the Katakana and plugged that into the YouTube search bar to, watch like some Japanese YouTubers talking about it. And they say, I'm not going to start saying Gradius, but I'm saying I feel very vindicated, over my use of that pronunciation on my show.
Yeah. I mean, I never knew it was really a thing until like you talked about it. And was it during a video you did it? You talked about that
dude. But it
also.
was like the Super Nintendo in 1991. So, it was like a big video. So I got lots of comments from angry people. Nobody says it like that. I'm like, well, apparently the entire country of Japan says it
does.
like that. And they made the game. But, like I said in the video, I said in the video today, what I should have said then is like, here's how it's pronounced in Japan. Here's how... Because like I explained in the video today, like I think it's Gradius 5 for the PS2, where like the game says the name of the game on the title screen. It goes like Gradius. So like to me, like that means like the
that's
official.
canon, then. That's
the official Western pronunciation is Gradius. The official Japanese pronunciation is Gradius. So I should have said that in the video, right? And then
Who's saying Gradius?
when we were growing up, I just feel like everybody I knew said Gradius. Same
heard
thing
a lot
like
of people
with
say Gradius.
just like with Ninja Gaiden. It was Ninja Gaiden and Gradius.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ninja
I
Gaiden.
remember. Yeah. I mean, I called it Ninja Gaiden.
We all did. I didn't know anybody
Yeah.
that
Everybody
didn't
did.
call it
Yeah.
that.
I still
I'd
call
never
it
even
Ninja
heard
Gaiden.
Japanese by then.
You what?
Not really. I mean, it's like one of those things, like I was talking about recently about how, Final Fantasy VI, I'll always refer to it as Final Fantasy 3 because that's like what it was.
Yeah.
Or I will like elaborate and say, 3 or 6.
Yeah, that's always for me. It's always an awkward conversation. Anytime you bring up Final Fantasy 2 or 3, I'm like, well, I really mean 4. I really mean 6. Like, because the real Final Fantasy 2 sucked. So I'm talking about 4.
But on the internet, it used to be like 4J. They would
See, I like
refer to
that
it as
bet-
4J or 6J.
I like that better.
Yeah.
Like I
do
want to
too.
be able to say Final Fantasy 3, and if somebody goes, "Well, which one?" Well, did I say 3J? Okay, then.
Or 6J.
Right. That's my point. Anyway, just in my never-ending quest to try to get you to learn katakana.
I know. You listen.
Like now, let me tell
trying.
you something.
I am trying.
Now,
like
I can pull out my drawer with all my PC Engine games in it, and that used to just be spines of gobbledygook, right? Because I thought, oh, it's all in Japanese. Every single one of my PC Engine games, it's all just katakana. Oh, that's Raiden, and that's Proteus Da.
You mean Raiden?
Sure.
I am Raiden.
No. Raiden is the shooter. Raiden is the guy from Mortal Kombat, and that's how you know the difference.
Who's the wrestler guy from Fatal Fury then?
I don't know.
I think it's Raiden. That he's a
I think he says, "I am Raiden."
Well, there you go.
There's so many different pronunciations. There was a point where I tried to in videos where I would change the way that I've always said things because I thought that maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I'm like changing it to the wrong thing, and I'm just like I'm going to stop caring now.
But even if you say the right thing, people who say the wrong thing are going to get all up in arms about it. So it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
It's like no matter what you do, so just do your thing. Yeah. Like
yeah.
Yeah. I can't be. There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
Not enough seconds in the day to
worry
about it.
What are you drinking over there?
I'm drinking a ranch Rita.
What is that? Is there alcohol in it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The margarita style with agave nectar and a taste of lime.
I didn't know we were drinking.
Ooh.
So yeah. I brought an emergency beer down here. Sorry, Greg. I know you're teetotaling.
I am.
He's also got a spindle of CDRs behind him.
A few.
I really wanted to ask about that. I saw it too. Like, why? You're doing something. So
I don't remember why. There was something. I was actually looking for a DVD. Yeah, I was looking for a DVD for something recently, and it's like I know it's on one of those spindles. So it's from when I was in went to media school, and I think I was looking for my original demo actually, and I knew it was on a DVD somewhere. So. It was on. I'm not sharing that demo. It's pretty terrible. I look back on it now and realize why I don't work in the media. But yeah, that wasn't.
But that's kind of cool though that you kept that. That you have that someplace at least. Did you find it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Actually, going back to what we were talking about earlier with the camera being so high, we used to do a weekly news show at that school near the end of our terms, and I was the two women who hosted the show always wanted me to be their camera person because I understood the whole putting the camera up as high as you could to reduce size. But I by the end of it, I'm not kidding. I had my arms straight up in the air holding the arm of that tripod. I mean, it went as tall as it could go. It was getting ridiculous by the end of it.
Oh, so they were not happy with the shots, so it was like up that high?
They were happy, but they felt they could be happier. So...
Isn't that's like a Caleb Pike technique, isn't it? Like, because I want to watch.
That's something you learn when you struggle with your weight and you're on camera all the time. That's
why the selfies are always up here.
Yes,
I've got the time. My camera's right at eye level because I'm married. Who am I trying to impress?
I don't know. Everybody who's watching this, I am too. But I think about it. I'm like, oh, I don't really like how I
don't know, man.
Look at this shot. I might
cares?
Need to reshoot it.
If anybody that watches my show because of how I look, like, what do you like? There's somebody that watches my show that like gets really upset that I quit wearing a hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, why? That's creepy. A little bit.
Creepy?
Yeah. Well, because they leave comments. Like
they're
every
creepy.
video.
I thought you were saying that they were calling you creepy.
No,
because you don't wear a hat anymore.
Creepy is they're not creepy. That's going too far. But it's just like every episode is just like bring back the hat.
I'm looking at the three of us on this screen right now. I feel like we could be brothers. All three of us could be related.
We could, and this is one gigantic ad for like Keeps or Rogaine or one of those things.
Absolutely. Don't let this happen to you.
Yeah. Although I'm the only one not wearing glasses now.
Well, that's we look. Greg and I look more studious, and I'd say you look pretty accurate.
Yeah.
You didn't even know what episode this was. God, it's just like it's 5 more years, but it's like 30 more.
Now
IQ,
I'm the oldest one here.
30 more IQ points, though. You look, see, now you look oldest and smartest, and then you take it off, and now you're just some guy with a cat on your shirt.
Yeah. With that's That's not any cat. That's
Jonesy.
It's Jonesy from Alien and Aliens. My growing up, I had a cat that was named Jonesy, and my mom found this online and sent it to me.
Did your parents name the cat based on the cat in the movie?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
really?
Yeah. Aliens was my mom's favorite movie for years and years and years. She used to put it on play the videotape back like every single day.
That makes your mom the coolest.
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
She would go through these periods of time where she kind of gets obsessed with a movie and then would just like put it on like every single day and like do other stuff. It's just it's kind of nice because it's like coming into the room when there's just a movie on TV that you really like, and it's like, oh, I just like watch this for a little bit.
I vividly remember because I didn't see the movie Aliens until I was closer to old enough to watch it. Like I didn't see it when I was little. Like, and what did that movie come out? 86, I think, or 85.
Yeah, 86.
So I've been like 10 years old when it came out. But when I finally did see it, I realized I had a very strong memory of hearing my dad watching it when I was in bed one night. I don't know if I just couldn't sleep that night, but like he had it on loud and I was hearing, I think it was mostly Bill Paxton's lines. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize what movie they were from until I watched Aliens years later. And it's like, oh my God, that was the movie my dad was watching on this random night. I don't know why it stuck with me, but maybe just because it was great dialogue. I don't know.
Yeah, and you wonder, did that movie just like amaze him and blow him away at the time? But he can't like talk to you about it,
Yeah.
Can't be like, oh man, I watched the best movie last night that you can't watch.
Exactly.
I always joke about that stuff. I saw it in the theater because my mom took me. Me and my brother came back from spring break, and my mom had seen it. Well, so my brother and I would go down to my grandparents' house, like down in Florida, for spring break, and it's 2 weeks. My mom wouldn't go because that's just like I appreciate it now. Because like when they, during the summer or spring break, when the kids will go to their grandparents for like a week or so, and you just kind of have that time to just decompress and enjoy like just like doing stuff around the house, but also like, I don't know, just getting drunk in the middle of like watching TV some night or something. I don't know. You can just do whatever. And we came back from spring break, and my mom's like, "Oh, I gotta take you to see this movie. It's like the best movie I've ever seen."
That's wild.
And you would have been like 7 or something.
Yeah, you would have been like 7, right?
If it was 86, I would have been 8, I guess.
That's not much better.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. But she's like, "But first, you got to watch the first one."
Well, yeah.
And so she like rented the first one. And we watched it, and then we went to see it because I just remember going and seeing it and being like, "This is awesome." And then we went and ate at Sbarro's Pizza afterwards.
Oh my God!
That had just opened in the mall that we saw it at.
Does that
and
still?
That movie theater just got closed down.
Oh, man. Where did you grow up? Is the Midwest?
Yeah, well, just outside of Buffalo, so Western New York.
Just Sbarro's. I've never seen a Sbarro's outside the Midwest. So that's all.
Oh, we used to have them here. I was just about to ask, do those still exist?
Mm-hmm. I just saw one recently. I mean, for me, they were always like a mall thing. Like I saw
same
one
here.
at the Walden Galleria in Buffalo when I was there.
But I mean, I was at a mall the other day. They didn't have one. If they did, I would have gotten some pizza or something.
Yeah, I think most malls tend, like the food court tends to have like non-chain type places now.
Oh,
it's weird.
Really? I feel like my experience has been the exact opposite. Like when I was growing up, I feel like it was all
Manchu Walk. I guess I don't know if Manchu Walk.
That's a chain. We even have that here.
Okay. All right. Well,
so never mind.
I'm not afraid to admit that.
My local mall's got this cool local burger joint called McDonald's.
Oh, I heard about them.
Wait a minute, you're on the West Coast. That could be a local burger joint for you, couldn't it? Didn't they start on the West Coast?
They did actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's that movie about that, about
with
Michael Keaton's in
Michael
it, right?
Keaton,
The Founder, I think.
Yeah, the Founder. Yeah, I actually
I never saw it.
I wanted to see that.
Oh, really? The coolest part about that was where they were showing how they came up with making their food fast, and it was really neat. But yeah, that's
where you can drive through. I mean, Chris and I have talked about.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the apps
app.
again. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna get more hate.
I haven't done that.
You know, that's the problem. I feel like we
don't.
do this show. Like, do you have to deal with disgruntled listeners, or is it just me?
On our show?
No. I mean, Coury. I'm talking about this show. I feel like I'm the lightning rod. Anything we say that bothers people, it comes my way.
Coury's the talent. Yeah. He just shows up.
Well, kinda.
As soon as the recording stops, I mean, that seems clear to me. As soon as the recording stops, Coury is just, you know, whenever the next time we record is, that's when I turn back on.
Into my coffin.
Yeah.
No, I don't. If there is anything like that, then I don't notice it.
Sorry, anything like what? I don't. Oh,
if I'm like the lightning rod for anything.
No, I don't. It's nothing that bad, you know. Just like I'm the one that had to hear that we're old men because we don't want to use the apps.
Yeah.
There's so many other reasons you're old men.
Yeah. How about the fact that I'm just old?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not really that old.
Pretty old. I said that before. It's one of the reasons I like the show.
46, pretty old. Like there was a time when that was way past like life expectancy.
Middle-aged.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I think that it's nice that like being this age is not as big of a deal. Like the thing I was recently pointed out to me is that if you compare Sex and the City, the show, and you compare that to the Golden Girls,
I was going to
like
say
those characters are like the same age.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be the same age.
Oh, you're talking about like if you watch Sex and the City now, or what are you saying?
No. Just like
the characters in the show.
The characters in the show were the same age.
What are you talking about?
Not like when they were never on at the same time. What I'm saying is like the characters in Sex and the City are the same age as the characters were when the Golden Girls were on. Like the characters are that same age.
I don't.
But that just goes to show you how like that portrayal.
The Golden Girls,
like,
those were all retirees.
But they're not. Like they're like the same age.
I don't know. I'm too stupid to have this conversation right now. Obviously,
I think it's all perception, though, right? Because I mean, I don't know if we were still.
Those chicks in Sex
my
and the City
14-year-old looks at me and thinks I'm ancient.
Those chicks in Sex and the City were in like their 30s.
Yeah, you mean the new Sex and the City? Like the new series?
I don't think so.
Like when that show started,
even if it's like the new series, then like.
I mean,
maybe they were referring to the new series, but I don't think so.
There's a chick from like Police Academy and Mannequin. What's her name? Like she was the one that was a little bit older than the other three, but they were in like their 30s. The Golden Girls are the Golden Girls.
I don't think so. In that
they were in their 60s, weren't they?
They are in their.
What Sex and the City property are we talking
now?
about? I don't know.
Yeah,
the new
like Sex and the City.
But even that is like a huge difference. You know, just like the way that
people don't dress old anymore.
Besides, what's the difference you're talking about? Because on the Golden Girls, like that one Blanche was like a huge cougar. It was Blanche,
I know,
right? Wasn't it?
But the thing is like presented in the way that they are dressed, like how their hair is done, like they just like have the very short hair, like perm.
It's from the 80s.
I understand that, but you know, like was at that time. I mean, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing, but. Even now, when I look back at when I was in 7th grade, like the seniors in the high school that I was in, like looked so much older than I looked or anybody in my class looked when we were that same age.
I agree. If you go look at like an old yearbook, like the graduating seniors in high school look like 30-year-olds now. That I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's just like a thing with like in the 80s and early 90s. It's like they all looked that age. They looked older, like they looked 30. Would they look 30 until they were in their 30s, you think? Or they would age appropriately from 30.
They look like they're in their 50s.
Yeah, by the time they're 30.
I'll tell you what's changed a lot since we were kids that I'm really thankful for is that being bald now doesn't make you look old.
Yes.
Because so many people choose to do that as well. Not saying I do, but, you know, because I know when I was a kid, bald men were just old men. Nobody was bald by choice.
Not Kojak.
So, that's true. Not Kojak. Well, he was old to me.
Can you guys tell me about the day that you cut all your hair off for the first time?
I can't tell you the day, but I can tell you why I did it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I had been thinning since my late teens. And actually, if you go, luckily where I got to be in a magazine, there's a lot of very public evidence of me hanging on to a hairline that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And but no, when I first got engaged, not engaged, but the woman that I ended up getting engaged to, the first time I took her to meet my family, I ended up at one point we're at my mom's. I ended up sitting on a couch with my fiance to be on my right, my sister-in-law on my left, and the two of them talking past me about how I should shave my head.
Wow.
And it was that week. That week I bought a set of clippers, and it's like, because I had the full, like, you know, I had a little bit of hair up top still, but it was gone.
Yeah.
So I was like, why are you hanging on to this? It would look way better if you just shaved it. And they were right. So, so that was what, 17, 18 years ago, something like that.
And do you feel like, you know, that was like one of the best decisions you ever made?
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Just letting that go and just being like,
it just looks cleaner.
Yeah.
It looks more put together, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when I did it was, my roommate was when I had first moved to New York, I'd seen like how thinning it was in pictures and stuff. And my roommate was like a hairstylist. I'm like, will you cut off all my hair?
Nice.
And she did. And it was like, all right, there it is. And, you know, I met my wife to be like shortly after, and she's like, oh, you know, like I've always felt like you were meant to be bald.
Well, you know, it's nice when you find out your skull is the right shape.
Yes.
You don't have any weird dents in it or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, that's kind of like winning the lottery in a way. Because, I mean, imagine if, you know, you didn't have like a good shaped head and you're like, well, I got to cut off my hair anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, then you got to deal with that. So you're just like trading one problem for another, kind of like getting LASIK.
It's exactly like getting LASIK.
Yeah. Getting LASIK is like
shaving your eyes.
Your eyeballs shaving its head. Shaving their All right. What about you, Chris?
I mean, I don't think I ever really did it in the way that you guys are talking about. I feel like the older I've gotten, I just kept cutting my hair shorter and shorter and shorter. Like it was never like one day I cut my hair off. You know, It was just like, oh, I'll take a number 4. Let's make a number 3. You know, and then at some point, it's like I felt like, you know, I'm going out and getting my hair cut so short that it's not worth paying for it anymore. And then now at this point, like I can't cut my hair any shorter unless I take the guard off of the clippers. You know.
Yeah.
So, and I mean it. But the thing with that is, of course, I have to cut my hair like twice a week now, or it starts to kind of like look.
Oh, really? Like,
well, oh man, I don't have to do that.
It just it grows fast enough that I look in the mirror and I'm like, you know, I can tell, and then I'll get the clippers and you start cutting, and I can see the hair that's falling into the sink, and I'm like, yeah, that was a little on the long side. Mm-hmm. So
almost a hippie.
Just yeah, exactly. In fact, I just, you know, because I knew I was going to be making, you know, at least one video today plus doing this, so you know, did a little manscaping today, cut my hair, trimmed my beard, shaved.
I did both of those today too, because
yeah.
You
ever think about growing your beard out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I've had.
I mean, I'm not trying to say it doesn't look cool. I'm just saying, have you ever thought about just kind of like getting something a little more burly?
Yeah, I've definitely considered it, and I've tried many, many times.
What do you mean tried?
It's just, I mean, I've done it many times, but
you're supposed to sit there and like you have to strain for like 5 minutes per hour. It's like taking a dump, you know, but like.
Yes.
Well, it's the same thing, you know. So actually, maybe do it on the toilet because then you're doing double duty.
And you know, like, I don't know. I feel like it looks weird. Like I don't mind doing it like during the winter.
Yeah.
But it's like I always struggle with getting that fade from that into like the
really? You just got
hair on top. I know you can use the different things, but it's like, yeah.
Well, I don't use different things. I just you have a steady hand or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Get your wife to do it.
No,
She doesn't want to do that. She has like lots of better things that she'd rather do.
I tried to get mine to help me with that one time, and it didn't really go well. Is all.
Yeah, it's just
all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could talk her into doing that. She's like, you want me to stop what I'm doing right now and do that?
Ask her like, hey, can you help me with one of these two things, and then make the other option like way worse.
Yeah.
Like okay, I've got a pimple.
Won't say like, oh,
I've got a pimple on my gooch. You can either help me pop that, or yeah.
Hey guys, I got news for you.
Oh, all right.
I got two.
Oh, really? I feel like we should have discussed this ahead of time, because now poor Greg is probably over there drinking a Diet 7 Up or something.
I'm empty. I'll grab something from the fridge here soon.
Well, I gotta go. I mean, it's only like 3 PM for me, so I have to actually do stuff after this. So I can't. I can't go crazy. But I still
when
have.
Was the last time you like day drank and just got and?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
Too much.
I couldn't even tell you. But hey,
neither.
I had a question. Here's my question for Greg Sewart.
Okay.
Canadian Greg Sewart. So you haven't heard it yet because it's not public yet. But last time on the show, we were talking about how at work, this is if you're a Californian, this is your tax dollars at work. We're trying as many different flavors of Doritos as we can in the office, and we got a spreadsheet going where we're ranking all of them, and I know that in Canada you've got some chip flavors that we don't have here. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering, like in general, like what are your Dorito flavors of preference? But then also, question 1B, if you wanted to mention some potato chip flavors. And sorry, Corey. Corey doesn't like food, so he's going to not enjoy this conversation.
I'm never going to hear the end of this.
Well, we're talking about chips, though. That's not really food.
Yeah. It's just chemicals, really.
Yeah.
Everything is chemicals.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it. Doritos, I mean, I'm a sweet chili heat guy, personally. Ooh. I don't know if you guys have that, I assume.
Well, we have one here. What color's the bag?
Black.
Oh, because we have one here that's called was called spicy sweet chili.
It's probably the same.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just same
it's
name.
It's called crap, spicy sweet chili.
Same game, different name. But
yeah, I would totally get that.
We have a bag of that in the office, and that one's ranking. I think that's actually the top of the rankings. Is the spicy sweet chili?
They're great. But no, there's one here. You guys don't normally have like dill pickle chips down there, right? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
There's some potato chips. Kettle Brand, I think, makes a dill pickle chip.
Yeah, there's a dill. I'm pretty sure there's a dill pickle Doritos.
Oh, I don't know about that
flavor up here. I'll tell you one thing. Okay, there's two lately that I've seen that I want to try. I don't know why I want to try one of these. I saw lobster flavored potato chips.
Dude, I would so try that. Oh, lobster potato chips. I might have had that.
So gross.
Yeah, not Doritos.
I feel like Utz makes some kind of fish flavored chip.
I feel like and I feel like it's probably not something you'd see too much on the West Coast.
No,
like lobster fishing here is kind of a big industry here in like Maine and New Hampshire and stuff like that. There's a fishery called Clearwater that's kind of the fishery here, and we were out buying some seafood a couple weeks ago, and I just saw I have a picture of it. There's a whole rack of these lobster flavored chips that I should have bought while I was there, but didn't.
I would definitely eat that.
Right.
All right. That was one. You mentioned there was another one.
There's another one called it's marsala flavored chips.
Oh, kind of like
like chicken marsala or something.
Which I assume is because
you're thinking of masala, Corey. Like chicken tikka masala.
No, whatever it is the Indian.
Oh, that's
the Indian
chicken tikka masala.
That's so maybe it's masala.
Then you take the R out.
Okay.
It's misleading, but
it's I know, and this is only local, but I know that we've had a lot of immigration.
Yeah.
A lot of Indian and Middle Eastern immigration here over the last few years. So a lot of those sort of Indian spices are starting to show up in a lot of different foods and a lot of different places around, which I love. It's fantastic. I mean, it's broadened the horizon of restaurants and things that you have access to around here, which is great.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Keep meaning to try those.
We have a pretty healthy Indian population here, because we have like a lot of Indian restaurants. I haven't seen any, I would say, Indian spiced like American snack food, but you can buy like just straight up Indian snack food, and those people have a strong snack food game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can buy. I mean, if you call it like a bar mix kind of thing, they have kind of like their version, like an Indian version of something like that, and it's so good.
Yeah, I love it. I love Indian food. I'd have to look around and see if I could find that. One of my coworkers turned us on to an authentic Indian restaurant nearby that we went to a few weeks ago, and it was just fantastic.
Do you get like the spice level 10?
No, I'm not that kind of. I can't. There was a time I could handle that back before I started shaving my head, but now it's not so much. But still, it's like even sort of the lower end of the spice spectrum was still hotter than what you would usually find at at most places around here. So it was really good.
So it's about I can go about as high as 3 on the pee out your butt spectrum.
I don't understand. Do you actually go to restaurants where they give it to you on a scale of 1 to 10?
No. Well, there's a couple places here. It's like, oh, what do you want the spice to be?
Yeah, but here it's like you want mild, medium, or hot.
Yeah, that's
here there's places they have like
10 seems like a weird what's the difference really between
what's
like
the
a
differentiator?
6 and a 7
what's the difference between a 1 and a 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm usually a medium.
How hot it is how much it burns when it comes out.
How much it burns on the way out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was showing my coworker, I think it was yesterday, like she had never seen hot ones.
Oh, the YouTube?
Yeah. Because I was talking about, that bottle of hot sauce you sent me, Corey, that I'm not going to probably eat.
You should. You can pass it on.
So we ended up.
I passed it on. I got it from somebody else.
You gave it to me, yeah. I might take it to work. I don't know. I'm just scared. And I like hot, but I just feel like that's maybe a bit too much. But then I have a coworker where she eats so much spicy food that a few months ago she was telling me how she had to go to the doctor because she literally had stomach problems. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And she's like, oh, it's because I eat too much spicy food. But
does she also have an ulcer, you think?
I think she might. And it's funny because, she's still in her 20s too. So like you got to treat your body a little better than that. But she already knew about the hot ones because she was telling me she has like all of those. Okay.
Because I think you can buy
sauces,
like the lineup.
I get, but I'm saying she doesn't have just the ones that are made by hot ones. Like she has like the bomb and all that kind of stuff too.
Well, that's what was sent to us too. Like that one.
Oh, you got the bomb?
I sent you. Yeah, the bomb is like, it's gross.
That's what everybody says.
It just does not taste good at all. Like the whole point is for it to be hot.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how gross it is. It's just like really gross.
But like I read a review of the one you sent me.
I've eaten all these on live streams. I've had them all on live streams. And I will say that as hot as all those sauces are, like nothing even comes close to the like the Pachi or Patty.
The chip.
The one chip challenge. Man, I did the one chip challenge. This is all on live stream, and they have a scale on their page where it's like, oh, if you like go for 5 minutes without having anything to eat or drink, then this and this. But if they said if you go for an hour and you have proof, we'll put you on the website. And I did it on live stream, and I went for over an hour without having anything to eat or drink. I thought I was going to poop my pants like during the whole thing. Like I was like, oh my God. Like it's just like it was painful. And I did not have anything to eat or drink.
Yeah.
And then I sent it to them on Twitter, and they like never put me on the website.
Jerks.
Did you say you were going to poop your pants? Maybe that's why they didn't put you on the website.
No, I say that. I said that during the stream. But I think that they saw like, oh, I don't want to watch this guy for an hour.
But it's just to have the proof.
I have the, yeah.
Like, how else are you going to prove it? Other than video?
I don't know.
Maybe you're the only person that's ever done it. Maybe it's just
It's ridiculous.
But I think that people do it and then they like send like these super cuts or whatever to them. And that's probably like proof enough. But I'm not going to sit there and chop up this live stream just to get on their website. Like if they want to put me on the website, like they're going to have to sit there and watch me.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I think you've got a sponsorship opportunity for the show.
Yeah. I mean, we could all eat it. I'm never going to do that again. Like
I don't want to do that. But that's the thing. That's why I'm tempted by the sauce you sent me. Is like I said, I read a review of it, Actually, it was a review of like, here's a bunch of hot sauces, like ranked in order of spiciness. And,
was it ranked?
But then it reviewed each one. And like they had the bomb in there, and they're saying how it's not good at all. Like it's hot, but it tastes terrible. But then the one you sent me, they were saying like yes, it's very, very hot, but it also has really, really good flavor.
Yeah. That's kind of the threshold for me. Like once the heat becomes the point, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want the flavor, and I want to be a little bit sweaty after I eat.
But eating spicy food is right? Like a known like mood enhancer. It's supposed to, like they've done research. It's like it's like taking
it's like smoking some drugs, probably kind of.
Yes,
right?
smoking.
Like it makes you hallucinate, like the endorphins or whatever.
I don't want to do it that badly.
I like how the one person on this show I'm gonna guess right now who likes to consume mind-altering substances is saying, "Oh, it's like smoking the drugs," as though you don't, That's like someone saying like that's like if I looked into the camera, was like, "Oh, I don't watch sports ball."
Well, it's like there's that one. It's the only thing I really remember about the movie, the 40-year-old version, where he's like, "Yeah, well, how many drugs have you smoking?" He said, "How many pots have you smoking?"
Oh, I don't remember that. I've only seen that movie. I remember that the one time, and that was enough.
Yeah. Well, whatever. So what else, guys?
I brought up the Doritos thing. What do you got?
I want to know about the Sega sign. Oh, Greg's window there. Does it say it on the same other side too?
No. Those are just. That was a Christmas gift from my youngest. She just knows I love Sega, and so she got like 4 little. She's every now and then she's very crafty, and by crafty I mean not that she's sneaky, but that she likes to do crafts. And that was just a Christmas gift one year. I opened it up, and it was just 4 whiteboards that spelled out Sega, and it's just lived in that window ever since.
Do you take it to the hockey games?
I should. No, I don't. No.
Given the 4 people, everyone can.
Yeah.
Hold it up.
No. So.
Oh, well, it's someone. I have this one. It's like you can kind of see it over here. Someone made this like out of wood, like wood cut.
Really?
I didn't know that was wood.
Yeah, I thought it was like a laser cut, like acrylic or something.
That's
impressive.
It's
like straight up wood. I put like magnets on the back so that it doesn't slide around or anything. Yeah, I
have a laser cut acrylic one in that. The light doesn't work in that case back there anymore, but there's a laser cut one back there on top of the Tower of Power. You can just barely see it in the background there.
It's kind of funny though, is you got that, and you can't really read Chris's neon sign back there. It says Sega, so like Sega's
true.
Right
oh yeah,
in all 3.
It's kind of a thing.
Of our video feeds right now.
Maybe Sega should sponsor our show.
There you go.
I mean, like I gotta say, like I didn't write down anything for this.
I find that like I feel like we're doing this for you, so you can have your Greg time, and
I know.
As per usual, you're woefully underprepared.
Yeah. Well,
woefully.
Greg, what do you you mentioned recently that you're playing Policenauts. Are you done with it yet? Did you finish it?
No, I haven't finished it yet. I've been playing it on Monday nights on my Twitch stream, just because. This year for Extra Life, this is the final year. I'm not going to stop doing Extra Life, but it's the final year I'm going to do the marathon. So, because hopefully, if we hit our goals this year, I'm going to hit a lifetime funds raised of $100,000.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So, sort of pushing towards that, and I put in a bunch of goals as sort of a celebration of the years that I've done it by taking like the total amounts from previous years and making them funding goals. So the first one was like $770. The very first year I did it, we raised $770. And so I'd put the very first year I did the marathon, I played through Snatcher because it's one of my favorite games. I'm a big Sega CD guy. And so that got unlocked. I played through Snatcher on Twitch and sort of chatting with my viewers. And it's like, man, Policenauts. I've owned Policenauts since it was new. I bought it on the Saturn when it came out. And of course, it sat on my shelf for years because I don't read or understand Japanese. And then, I was watching that translation project for years, and then they finally released the patch, and I was super excited, and then I did absolutely nothing with it. So my Twitch chat was kind of like, well, why don't we just do Policenauts next? So we sort of dove right into that. And I think I'm guessing I'm about halfway through. It's good.
What chapter?
Chapter 2 or 3. I think I'm 3 now.
Okay. I just finished 3. So we're like,
did you? Okay. I like it. I don't like it as much as Snatcher.
No. I totally agree. Like, I'm wondering if it's going to completely turn around by the end.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Snatcher is good, and it's like, it has a consistent build.
Yeah.
And then it goes crazy at the end. And I'm expecting this to go crazy at the end with some, like, messed up stuff happening. But, it's definitely a lot more verbose.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, I was like, this is definitely a Kojima game.
And a lot hornier.
Yes, yeah.
Holy crap.
In a way that is it's both like uncomfortable, but also like I can't believe like just like did this. And it's like kind of funny in a way, I think. I mean, I can't help but to laugh, like, because like the main character is a total pervert. Like he is like
all the time.
And he's like he's I don't know how old he's like a 60-year-old man trapped in a like a 25-year-old body.
20-something-year-old body, yeah.
So it's just like interesting the way that plays out. And but I kind of can't believe that they just give you like they just let him just like get all handsy like constantly.
Yeah. Although like I'm kind of like you. It's like it's totally cringeworthy. I mean, it would have been back in the late 90s. It absolutely is in 2023.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I'm playing it on Twitch, but I'm playing it with a bunch of like-minded idiots in my chat as well, who were all just like, well, let's do it. Every time you meet a woman, you got to do it. Yes. Right? But to me, the most Kojima thing ever was the zero gravity plane ride with the stewardess.
Yeah.
Because you can touch her boobs and they bounce, which is sort of horny Kojima all the way.
This like comic booky sound or this cartoon sound. It's like.
But my favorite part about it is then it launches into the Kojima-esque description and discussion about zero gravity and its effects on the human body.
Yeah,
it's like what is even happening?
That's the thing, There's just like, and it's impressive like how well translated it is because it's very apparent that the group that translated it are very big Kojima fans. Just like they just understand, where his thought process is and how he would approach certain things. And, you have this encyclopedia, like this interactive encyclopedia that you can access at any time. Yeah. And every single description has like links to like other things. And you could just like the amount of text is just staggering, but it's all intricate descriptions of how things work that don't exist.
Yep. It's an interesting coming from like somebody, well, all of us, who was living and played through games in the 90s, especially on the 32-bit systems, and was there for sort of like the cultural phenomenon that was Metal Gear Solid. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to play Policenauts because it's kind of the missing link in the Kojima verse.
Yes.
Right? Where
like that jump from Snatcher to Policenauts.
Right.
Or to, going from Snatcher to even Metal Gear and like having that Policenauts is like, okay.
I see it now.
Yeah.
You
even get like Meryl like in there.
And even like the I would call it the attract mode. I know that's not what it's called in most home games, but like if you let the attract mode run, you get a trailer for the game. Yeah.
With like the names and everything at the end and stuff.
Right. And it's absolutely what he was doing with Metal Gear Solid. Like because I remember when Metal Gear Solid was being shown at E3, you got these amazing trailers, these movie style trailers, but they had a very distinct style that I would call a Kojima style that even had like multiple false endings to it. Like that's all there in Policenauts. Like you can really see the germ of it in Policenauts, which I find is really interesting.
Did I hear you say someplace that you went to the first E3?
I didn't go to the first one. I'm 90. The last one that was in Atlanta, so 98, I think. I went 98.
Oh, so it was like Was there two of them, or there's one like just in Atlanta for a while, and then it switched to LA?
They started in LA, then they went to Atlanta, I think, for 97, 98, and they went back to LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because I wasn't paying too close of attention like during those years, I guess, for E3. But in like 90, must have been 93, I went to the summer CES in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, in Chicago.
And that was like when they had just started having that last day that's open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a mind-blowing experience. I wish I could find some of my pictures from it.
My co-host on Player One talk about all that all the time because they both grew up in Chicago. So they used to get themselves into the summer CES every year. So yeah, I wish I could have experienced something like that, but unfortunately no. But yeah, we drove down to Atlanta to go to E3 in '98, which was pretty awesome. It was like nothing. I still remember because the way that hall worked is that you had to go down like a set of stairs to the entrance. And so being there on the first day, of course, all the doors were closed, but we're all just sort of milling about in this landing and on this stairway. And then they opened the doors and it was just like, wow, like it's like a wonderland of video game stuff. And I remember that was the year that they were showing Trespasser, the game Trespasser. So it was like I think it was a T-Rex. It was like a big T-Rex statue, like right there when you open the door. It was so cool.
But not the game.
No, the game was terrible. But yeah.
But I remember having a friend, because that came out when I worked at Electronics Boutique, and I had a friend who was like way into like having dual Voodoo 2s and SLI and stuff like that.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I can't wait till Trespasser comes out. It's going to be better than Quake 2, which is what he was playing at the time.
I have a friend who played through it. He finished it. I couldn't believe it.
That's probably the only person ever
on the face of the planet.
It's kind of sad that it's not included in that limited run Jurassic Park collection that's coming out.
Yeah, I wish there was more in general to that. I love the idea, but isn't it all just basically the like Nintendo and Game Boy stuff?
I mean, that's what it seems like, yeah.
Yeah. It's too bad because the Jurassic Park games are sort of emblematic of one of the things that I love about 90s video games, which was how you'd have completely different games on different with the same IP but on different platforms. And Jurassic Park is such a great example of that.
Yeah.
And like, man, if you threw in like the Master System game and the Genesis games and the Sega CD game, which was completely different, and maybe even the 3DO interactive Jurassic Park thing, like what a collection that would be.
Yeah, they have all that on there.
Yeah.
I don't even know where they would how they could make that happen. I wonder. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I mean, hopefully we'll see some other ones in this. It seems like a miss to get the only have the Nintendo games or the Super Nintendo and NES games and Game Boy games.
Yeah, but who knows what the licensing rights are like for all that stuff?
Yeah, for like such a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
But like, what are some other stuff that are like? I do miss those days where you'd have so many releases and then every single one would be completely different.
Well, Aladdin was like the one that came into my head.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
And that Master System game and Game Gear game is like really impressive. It has like that line scroll, like parallax.
Yeah.
It's impressive for the hardware.
Batman and Batman Returns kind of sit right up there. I mean, the thing about Batman too that always blows me away is that it was all Sunsoft, but like they were all completely different. I would love to see Limited Run or somebody put together a collection of those games, and get us the TurboGrafx one, right? Because the PC Engine one.
I was just going to ask about that since you brought up Batman. Like, if you have a formed opinion on the PC Engine game,
I love it. I mean, it's not a great Batman game, but it's just so weird that I just love it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not bad at all. And I'll tell you, the first time I played it, I was not expecting the NES first level theme to come up in that.
Yes.
And hearing that through the the PC Engine's sound hardware, it's like, oh my God. Like I kind of can't believe that it's playing this and it sounds so good.
Yeah. Yeah, because I find that NES, like great NES tunes, never translate very well. Like the Wily Wars on the Genesis.
Yeah.
boy, the Genesis does not do the NES tracks justice at all, I find. But yeah, that I remember that too, and just thinking like, and I love Batman on the NES, easily my favorite version of it.
Yeah.
So, being able to hear that was just an extra bonus to finally playing the PC Engine version.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that a Batman game was ever as good as that until like the Arkham games, probably. At least that I played.
Yeah.
I
think you're probably right.
I'm not a Batman expert. I just watched that the Flash movie. It has Michael. Did you see it?
No.
It's real weird. It's real weird. I have a hard time understanding what they were going for, but it's just so tonally like off kilter all the time. Like it's just like jokey, and then it's like awful things happen, and they're like joking about it afterwards. I don't know. It's like, and it's like the effects are so bad.
That's
like,
the thing that struck me. Yeah, like I watched some kind of video about it because I hadn't seen it, but it's like I also don't. The DCU is such a mess. Those movies are usually more often than not bad. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of watched this anyway, and I knew that there was a bunch of cameos and stuff like that, and like you had Christopher Reeves and everything in there. But man, when they showed them, it's like these look terrible. Like these CG characters look absolutely awful. Yeah.
And like the only reason they're in there is because they know that they'll get like some sort of like pop from the audience the first time it's like that are seeing it for the first time before anybody else sees it or hears about it. Yeah. But man, they all look like they're just. I mean, it almost looks like a PS2 game.
Yeah, like it's staggeringly bad. Like that's what blew me away about it. It's like there's a uncanny valley, and then there's that. Like
yep.
It's just bad. It's gross.
Yeah, and it sucks that was Michael Keaton's like return to Batman because he's like the best part of the movie, which is expected. But
I think they knew that going in too because he was all you really saw in the trailers.
Yeah, and he's like not in the movie very much.
Of course.
Of course.
Say, Coury.
Yes.
Would you mind hitting me up with some Does It Slap or Should We Eat It music? But bearing in mind that our guest hails from Eastern Canada, can you please give me Shane's theme? So, the one with all the bass.
Oh, wait, they're not both by the same guy?
No.
That's the kind of pull we have here. We got two different people unrelated.
You want the bass slapping kind?
You guys are big time.
Oh, big time.
So big.
Big time, big time. We're like the Peter Gabriel song was written about us.
I think it might have been.
I'm going to have to dig it up because
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, my God. I seriously, I'm trying to do it.
I managed to bring the big guns onto the show here, and then you're embarrassing us both.
I can, if you give me a second, I can bring it up, but you need to give me a second. I just took two SSDs out of my computer and put an NVMe instead.
Took two gummies is more like it.
And it was included, and that stuff was on one of those. So I can do it. Just give me a second.
So while you're looking for that, I often wonder, the guy who wrote this song, who performs this song, because when I was...
Shane, he has a name, it's Shane.
The second time I dropped out of university, I moved to Charlottetown in PEI, and I was the manager of a video game rental store in Charlottetown. So I often wonder if this guy Shane might have come into my store at some point and maybe even rented something from me.
Well, I mean, he listens to the show, so
he's the island he's from.
He's going to, hopefully he'll leave a comment on the video.
Shane, if you're listening, it was Game World on University Avenue.
What what years?
Be 97. I think it was 97.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I got it here. Here we go.
Here's my question for you. You've got to keep one and eat two. Pick one that slaps, and the other two get dropped. That's my question for you.
Some sweet bass.
Yes.
I like that bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
Part.
All right. Now, with apologies, this is slightly culturally insensitive.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about Hideo Kojima, so
Yeah.
we're there.
And I mean, in case it's not clear, this is for Greg, not you, Corey.
Okay.
Sorry. Respect for the guest. All right. Number 1, the smell of the ice at a hockey rink.
Okay.
Number
Let me
2,
smell that smell.
exactly. The smell of ice around you. All right. Number 2, Molson. Number 3, doner kebab.
Oh, wow. There's a lot to unpack there.
And I mean, I don't know if doner kebab is like a regional thing. I don't know if you guys are big into that where you are.
Well, what they're called donairs.
Okay.
Donair.
Yes.
But it's the same idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Different ingredients, but the same general idea.
You see how I at least avoided the low-hanging fruit
I'm really
and I didn't add
impressed.
poutine in there.
Yeah. Because
know?
poutine's not as big here anyway.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the donair thing. I'll drop Molson immediately because
I figured.
I'm kind of afraid to say it on this show, but I don't like beer at all.
Oh, that's fine. Corey's allergic to it. I'm not joking. He really is. He's allergic to beer.
Okay.
I mean, I did like a body hair thing, and I have the hops.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, he's allergic to
You know, like,
hops.
I mean, it's like it explains why.
So
I'm,
technically,
like, in
you could
pain.
have a hops-free beer.
Yes, totally.
Do they
and
make
I do
hops-free beer?
sometimes.
I mean, I don't think malt
I mean, yeah,
liquor
yeah.
doesn't have hops in it, does
But
it?
that's why I'm drinking Ranch Ritas
Yeah.
Well, that's why you drink the fancy stuff
from Lone River.
Yeah.
No, I drink these because it's like
Does High
only
Noon
104
does High Noon know you're cheating on him?
there wasn't any high. If High
That's
Noon
what-
wants to like hook me up with
Yeah.
a lifetime supply
Yeah.
where I just always have it stocked, I will drink it on every single episode of the show.
Hey, High Noon, that's what you get for not sponsoring the show.
And now, you know, High Noon was my best friend before. Now my best friend is Lone River Ranch Rita.
Ranch Rita.
Buy one today. But no, I'll have to go with, I'll have to drop the smell of the ice too. But that's funny because
Really?
when you
See,
say
I
this,
figured you were gonna. Okay.
see when you say the smell of the ice though, small hockey rinks smell like sweaty teenage boys. They don't smell like ice.
I don't know. Every hockey rink I've walked into, there's that smell, and I'm not. Yes,
Yeah,
there's
that's body-
other,
that's body
there's
odor you're
other
smelling.
smells, but there's the smell of the ice. You know.
Yeah, that's fair. No, see, the other thing is too is I'm not a sports guy at all. The only reason I do all the sports stuff is because of my kid.
Yeah.
He'll come to me every now and then and say like, you know, Dad, I'm sorry we had to go out during like the Blue Jays game or something. And I'm like, dude, I don't watch baseball.
But how can you say you're
sports.
not a sports guy? Like, I almost unfollowed you on the platform formerly known as Twitter because you kept posting that goddamn picture of that stupid ass kid with the Penguins jersey
Well,
on.
okay. So, I mean,
The kid going,
I don't
Yeah.
hate sports, but like as an example, if the Penguins are in the playoffs, I'll
Yeah.
watch the playoffs.
Okay.
I will not watch a regular season game. That's the
Okay.
kind of sports guy I am.
That's fine. But
Okay.
how often would you say you're hitting up Donair?
That used to be when I lived away. Anytime I would fly home, my dad would pick me up in the airport, and before we got to the house, we would stop at Tony's on Roby Street and get a Donair sub.
so
that
what
was
is
all
that?
I
I need
looked
to know
forward
what
to.
it is.
Well, a donor and a donair are two different things, but the Nova Scotia donair, I think it's a mixture of spiced meat, but I think there's like lamb and beef and something else in there. It's on a spit, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just on a I forget the kind of bread it's on. It's a flatbread,
Like pita type bread?
like a pita. It's a pita, and it's onions, tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and then like a sauce that's like a really sweet cucumber-based sauce. I think it
Like
is.
the tzatziki
Is it kind of
sauce?
like a
But it's a lot of sugar.
like a euro?
Very
Almost
yeah,
like
it's
that?
exactly the same thing, but the ingredients I'm led to believe the ingredients are different enough that what you get here is unique to a gyro or a doner kebab. Because I remember when we were living in North Carolina, our best friends, I used to talk. My ex-wife used to talk about like, oh, when we go home, Greg always needs a donair. And they found a place that served doner kebabs. It's like, well, you got a real treat tonight. We're going to go out for dinner tonight. We're going to get a doner kebab, and because it's a little taste of home. And we went and got it. And it's like, this is not at all what a Halifax donair tastes like. But, I appreciate the effort. So, But yeah, it's a very distinct flavor. But that's what I used to when I lived away. Anytime I would come home, that's my dad and I would before we got to the house, we would stop and get a donair because you just couldn't get them anywhere else. I loved them. It's also why I'm so fat, but that's a different story. So,
but that was like the thing you were looking forward to the most.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you could just like get back on the plane and leave, would you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't need to see my family. It's crazy talk.
I'm gonna make a quick trip to get one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would keep the donair and eat the other two.
I want to say that like I never really had Molson very much, Molson Canadian, but I growing up like close to Buffalo, Labatt Blue was pretty big.
Yeah, it was like our big export for beer, I think. Yeah. Keith's was the beer around here.
Yeah. I went to Niagara Falls for the first time since I was a little kid recently. And, I just I barely remembered like what it was like, but it was really cool. It's just like the park itself is really nice. And then I guess like the area around it is not that great.
Like you mean, it's like
even
the
when I was in
hood, you mean,
college.
or what are you saying?
What's that?
Are you saying like the area around it is like the hood?
Yeah, it's not super nice. But they maintain like the actual park because it's like the first like national park. Niagara Falls.
You were on the American side, I assume, right?
Yes, because you need to have a passport to go to the Canadian side now, and I hadn't renewed my passport since it expired in 2018.
Because that's not how it used to be. When you were a kid, you just needed government ID,
right?
Like a license.
Yep. And I mean, when I was in college, I was going to UB. We'd go there all the time because the drinking age was 19.
Yep.
And
good old Canada.
And we'd go to the ballet, as it was referred to as.
What was that, a bar?
No, it's like the strip clubs.
Oh, duh.
They would call it like the Canadian ballet.
It's okay. I didn't get it either, so
I didn't get it at all.
I mean, I wouldn't know either unless the like people had.
Well, I think that's the point, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
someone,
we don't usually record on Saturday.
It's like a dog whistle.
We're recording this on a Saturday night. It's like talking about party.
Corey's working blue.
I guess that's just how it is tonight.
We when I was a kid, we didn't go very far west. Like I was a teenager before we went further west in Canada than New Brunswick, which is still the Atlantic provinces. Anytime we went anywhere, we would go to Florida or we would go down to Maine and New Hampshire. Because my dad didn't ever take us on family trips unless it was linked to a stock car race. Like that was the only reason we went anywhere.
Yeah.
So like there was a pretty famous race down in Maine called the Oxford 250. It's like the biggest short track race in the Northeast. And then of course there's the Daytona 500 down in Florida. So we go down for that. But at one point when we were, I don't know how old I was. I think I was 16. My dad decided he got tickets to a Montreal Canadiens game. So we were going to drive to Quebec. It was the first time I was ever going to be in Quebec. And it was me and my brother and my dad and one of my brother's friends. And the way we knew we were in Quebec, first of all the signs became French. But the first billboard we saw on the side of the road was a strip club. We didn't have any. We had one strip club in Halifax when I was growing up. But yeah, like that's all you saw. And then we pulled into this little seedy little motel. I think it was just like, this was back in the day when I don't think he had reservations. I think we just pulled off to the first motel we saw when he was too tired to drive anymore. And it was this probably not all that safe. And we got 2 rooms and we went into the room and I was sharing with my dad and my brother and his friend were in the other room. And we turned on the TV and there were 3 stations and 2 of them were porn. So I know what my brother and his friend watched all night. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they had their own TV. But yeah, that was my first impression of Quebec. So
there's a place close to me, like down the road from me. It's a gentleman's club
that you
called,
totally don't go to.
Fancy
that I've never been to.
Mm-hmm.
They have great steaks, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, dude. Literally the grossest thing that I can think of
He's eating in a strip club?
Yeah, is a strip club with an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like, that is, like, the grossest thing that I can think of. I mean, I will watch somebody have, like a cyst removed from their tailbone.
Oh, God, can we please never bring that up again?
Jesus.
I mean, it's like the grossest thing I can think of. But I mean, this place is just there by itself. But it's very close to just like a little bit down further from it is like this old rodeo bar that's been around for like a long time called Bobby Mackey's, and it was on like Ghost Hunters and stuff because the basement apparently is the portal to hell, and they give like ghost tours. But this place like it has like a mechanical bull.
Strip joint?
No, the playpen is the strip joint. This Bobby Mackey's is like down a little bit further, and it's like the same person has like owned it, and he has like his own band, like this own like honky tonk band, and they play like every weekend at his own bar. I think it's kind of like living the dream. Then you have like but the place like looks like the roof is going to collapse at all times. But my wife went with some friends. I've never been, and she's like, "Oh man, it was so cool." It was just like we took the ghost tour. And then we like hung out and like we met the owner and we hung out with him for a while. And then his band played. And I guess it's just like a lot of fun. And the thing is like this place is like just kind of by itself and with this huge parking lot. And it's only open on weekends. And the parking lot gets so full.
Wow.
And I mean, I imagine that it's probably just a really, really awesome time. But it's like, like the whole ghost aspect has been like on that Ghost Hunter show and all this other stuff. So I think it's kind of a neat place. But the thing is Bob Mackey from Retronauts. Like I want to get him a shirt from there. I met him for the first time like very, very briefly at the Midwest Gaming Classic in April. And like when I found out he was going, I was like, I need to get him a Bobby Mackey shirt. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So if I am going to a convention that he's going to be at again, I'm going to get that for him. And I don't know if he's going to think that's cool or if he's going to be like, what is this? I mean, like basically his name.
Well, I mean, a gift is a gift. Hopefully he would just appreciate that anyway. Yeah. Speaking of that convention, wasn't that where the EGM reunion thing was? Did you record that or?
Yeah, I filmed it. Yeah,
you filmed it. Yeah,
Mark and I filmed it. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to talk to any of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I have like extremely long interviews with all of them.
Oh, really?
Like,
right
on my own. That cool. We shot like before that, but at that it's the first time we met like Mike Vallis, and we did like an interview with him.
I love Mike.
Yeah, he's a talker.
Well, yeah, yeah.
He was, he just kept on going and going and going. He's very cartoonish.
Yeah. There was always when we were because he was still there when I started there, but he wasn't working. He wasn't doing any writing. He was doing all the color correcting for all the magazines. So anytime we would take screenshots, that would be the process. We'd send them all to Mike, and he would color correct them, send them back. But we didn't call him Mike. We called him Vallis. Yeah. And there was like a running joke around the office that like even Vallis's mom calls him Vallis. But
he's always like, it's Vallis spelled this way, not like the game Vallis.
Yeah.
Which is a good name though to have. But
for the video game industry, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was saying that he was apparently the longest running employee there.
He was there a long time. Yeah. Yeah. I think he finally left when we moved out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I think he didn't make the trip.
I should send you that stuff. I'll tell you about it like after the podcast.
Yeah, sure.
After we're done recording, but I mean it's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I sent some to Chris. I don't know if you ever watched that Ed Semrad interview that we did.
I never met Ed. I heard a lot of stories about Ed, but I never met him.
Very, very nice guy. I mean, as far like, it's always funny like when we were like after talking to him, hearing people say, oh, he was kind of like he was real hard on us and this and that. But I look at it and like can you imagine being like in your 40s and working with a bunch of like teenagers? It's like I would be a hard ass about everything too. It's like, just like stop talking to me and do what you need to do.
It's so funny to me because I never met the guy. He was actually, when I got there, when I was reading EGM when I was a kid, he was like the guy who I identified with in his reviews. Like his reviews were always like, this is what Ed says about this. So if he liked it, I'm going to like it. Come to find out years later, he didn't write most of those reviews.
Yeah. He just didn't have time, I don't think.
Right. Andy Barron, who was the first person I met when I worked at Expert Gamer, ended up writing a lot of those. But but no, all I ever heard of about him was those kinds of stories. It's like, he was just a hard ass, and like, he didn't review any of his games, and he apparently worked really hard. Everyone always said that, like he was always going. But it's funny because when you go back, like I go back and sort of troll through really old magazines for the show and stuff like that, including Electronic Games, his name's all over the place. Yeah. In high score tables. I found like it wasn't a quick shot, but it was some like game remote or game joystick that was like they used his name to sell. Like the guy was a legit game player.
Yeah.
It's just that once he was into EGM, he was sort of past that part of his life.
Right.
And
I just think he had so many responsibilities, and he was like always like traveling and stuff. And
yeah,
did you ever see the video of him like going to the Tokyo Game Show? It was on YouTube for a while, and we have all this stuff for a documentary on it that is like for various reasons has not happened. But I reached out to the person who shot that, and he sent me like Blu-ray versions of all that stuff.
Nice.
And like I paid him for them, we just like haven't used them because for various reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just like seeing him at these different shows, like shooting all these photos and everything, and the stuff that everyone talked about was that he would.
He didn't care what he's allowed to get pictures of. He just got them.
Yeah, because and it's it's good advice. I think in terms of life, it's like it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah.
So he would just do it and just be like, "I'm the dumb American." I didn't know, which I think is kind of cool. And he just he kept on getting away with it.
He'd be like, "I'm the dumb American who somehow plugged my pass-through video recorder into your setup when you weren't looking."
Yep.
Oops.
Which is, whoops! I tripped and it plugged itself in, and then the cable, plugged itself into that.
Yeah.
Whoops. But yeah, I mean, it's like a good story, I think. But I mean, I just think about how, I would have zero patience for people that
like
age.
if I was to go back, even when I was there, and it was way more professional when I was there than what I heard. I heard stories of what it was like before. Mm-hmm. And going back there at my age now, like pushing 50 and dealing with those 20-something fools, actually, they were hiring teenagers too.
Yeah, some of them were some people were in college. Were in high school still.
Yeah,
I think Trickman Terry was still in high school or something like that when he got hired. When he first went for an interview, him and Ray Price, I think, were just out of high school or in high school still.
Yeah, Chris Johnston was the same way. Andy Barron was a kid as well when they hired him. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I remember I just thought about that because I thought I'd heard that you'd recorded it. You and Tri had recorded it. So. Yeah,
and the reason we kind of were able to do that is because we had met and interviewed all of them except for Mike Vallis before.
Okay.
So we kind of had a ongoing communication, at least with Ray Price, because he's been the one that's gotten a lot of people involved and let's do this here. Let me see if I can get some people to do this. But have you ever been to Midwest Gaming Classic before?
I went once. I went as part of Retronauts.
Okay.
Jeremy and the show paid for me to come down there.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I saw Terry Minnick, actually, because that was right before. That was just as he and his business partner were getting ready to open their arcade.
Yeah. Which did not, unfortunately, last.
Which didn't last
through the pandemic. But we did go there to his arcade. Pixel
oh, really?
Blast. Yeah, I have I have a bunch of B-roll of Frank Cifaldi and Joe Redifer playing arcade games there.
Nice.
Randomly.
Did Joe just show up?
No,
Just
no,
randomly? No.
he went with us.
Nice.
Just
be
because like
funny.
he like helped us do the whole like film all this stuff.
Right on.
Just because it's a travesty that this documentary project is not out, but I feel as though it's going to happen. I just don't know when. All the information in it is still relevant, though, at least. I mean, that's just like I wish I could just like make videos as fast as I used to. Where I was like just excited to make videos all the time, and like every waking moment, like that I had free, I'm like I'm gonna work on a video.
My kids are away this weekend, just because it's their weekend with their mother, and that was my plan today. It's like I'm gonna get up. I've got all these different videos that are like in various forms of being completed, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna spend all day doing this. I cracked Premiere Pro open 20 minutes before we started recording this.
I at least need to open it so that I can say that I did.
Yeah.
So how far are you through the library now of games?
Just at the beginning of 1991. I mean, I came to peace with the fact that I'll probably never finish this a long time ago because I moved too slowly, and I'm interested in doing too many other things at the same time. So I constantly, and I don't know if you guys are like this too, but I constantly get into a situation where I have different ideas that I want to do, and then I end up suddenly realize I'm picking away at like 7 different projects all at once.
Yeah.
And then I have to pare it down, right?
You're picking away at all these projects, and then like none of them get done.
None of them ever get done. And in the meantime, the latest video on the channel is a year old, right? So,
yeah,
you know,
so
yeah. But
it's never ending.
It is.
I really respect how fast Jeremy Parrish can get his like.
It blows me away.
Where he just can just crank them out, and he's like done videos for like he did like all the SG-1000 games, like wasn't even a thing. I didn't even understand.
I think one of the things for him, at least, is he's a gifted writer, like he always was, and it seems like he can churn out good copy pretty quickly.
Yeah, which
I think helps him a lot, right? Because he's just doing video essays. Yeah. I shouldn't say it that way. That minimizes. He's just doing video essays. I think one of the biggest pieces of what he does is the writing.
Yes.
And I know that he churns out really good stuff like on the first shot. You know what I mean? Like, right. So I think he that to me, that's one of the reasons I think that he can churn that stuff out so fast. But yeah, it's always good quality, and it's I hate him. I hate him for it. I love him. He's great. But
I do feel as though like a lot of this, like at least for his Master System stuff, he's gotten like he credits like so many different video places that he's like getting the video from. Yeah, I think. So he's not like a lot of times I don't think he's recording the gameplay completely on his own.
That's I kind of learned that from him because I was in this situation where it's like, well, if I'm going to show it, I have to find a way to play it and record it. And it's like for 10 seconds of footage, what's the point of that? Like, yes, I'll just go take it off YouTube and I'll just put a credit on the bottom. And it's like, I've never ever had anybody, not that I'm a huge channel anyway, but I've never ever had anybody come over and say like, what are you doing? And like for certain things, like I used some footage from one of Joe's videos, for the laser active thing I did a couple years ago. And where I actually have interacted with him before, I reached out and said like, do you mind if I do this? And nobody ever cares. They're always cool about it as long as you have credit. So I've done that with you. You've given me footage before too, actually, that I'm thinking about it. Exactly.
Just recently, I think some Game Ground stuff, maybe.
Yes. That's the video I'm still working on. So.
Well, I hope you downloaded that because I deleted it from my Dropbox recently.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Gotta clear up that hard drive space when you can. That's cool. I wish that it's so frustrating though. I wish I could be like as all consumed as I was like at the start. But I think that everybody kind of goes through that. Anybody who makes videos for a long period of time and achieve some sort of success, like you always have like what is like the feature creep, Or is creep when you're removing stuff, or is it like when you're adding and stuff?
Adding
No, it's when you're adding.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's just, I mean, that's definitely what's happened to ours. And I feel as though people expect that all the time, and I wonder if I'm overthinking it. It's like, just do what you need to do, get it done. You know, nobody's gonna ever see the video that you don't make, or something like that. Whatever the.
I think Chris's hot new show sort of takes care of all that, where he just sits in front of the camera and plays something and talks about it.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I get like 2,000 or 3,000 views per video, so it's not really taking care of anything.
That's 3 times more than I get.
Wow, but it's a lot less than I'm used to.
But in a way, like, that's what's cool about it, is that you're doing this, and it's you're really just not doing it for the views. You're doing it because you think it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, but I never did
think
YouTube
that's
for
the
the
key
views,
thing.
period. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key thing, because YouTube and the algorithm and everything is such a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, and you guys have channels that are far more successful than mine, so I think that you have to worry about that a little bit more. But still, it's like, at the end of the day, I know for me personally, I want to do stuff that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But that can, if you've got a channel that does big numbers, that can severely screw up your sort of discoverability and and the algorithm and what it's suggesting for people. And so, I really like, Chris, like, in all seriousness, with your weekly rental, I love that you've found a way to do something that clearly you're just enjoying doing, even though, and having it on a different channel. And it's just like a more regular feature. Every week or two, there's another one out there. So as a viewer, I just like knowing that, I'm never more than a week or so away from seeing what the next game is that you're going to be playing. And you usually pick some interesting stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I can't stand my life in gaming, but no. I'm just,
Everyone's probably just seeing live streams, and they're
I did notice that, actually.
Okay, so this is the whole thing. But like in a good way. I mean, maybe in a good way. I don't know if it's going to turn around and bite us in the butt in the long run. But I just found out recently that our front page has the ability to add like a live tab where it puts all of your live streams underneath there.
Okay.
The thing is the only way to make them appear in that tab is by making them public.
Yeah, I mean, you should explain to him how you left the videos unlisted, but they were on a public playlist.
I knew that, yeah.
Okay.
They were unlisted, but on a public playlist on the front page of the channel. And a lot of people, for as many people like watch it, there's like 10 times the amount of people saying like, "Oh, is there any way to watch the old live streams?" And I gotta like be like, "Oh, well, there's a playlist here." And so when I found out that we had that tab, because that's like kind of a recent feature, I decided that, okay, so this is like the opportunity to do this. And I'm going to go, and it was right after we did this Retro Tank 4K video, which is like one of our biggest live streams we've ever had, maybe the biggest now. So it just, like, a lot of factors played into the desire to make this stuff more accessible. And I just like found, if I go into the settings of that and I set it to not notify subscribers about it, it won't show up in people's subscription boxes.
Okay.
But it makes it public. But by being public, YouTube puts it into the algorithm.
Yeah.
So it's like out there. And the thing is we've been streaming every Sunday since 2016, and we have 415 live streams. And we are halfway there right now. What I'm doing is, and I'm getting a lot of help from like people commenting, is I'm going through and like, how you can do like the chapter marks and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing that for like per game played.
Oh my God.
So that makes it, like sometimes we only play one game the entire stream, but other times, we play a bunch of stuff. Like if it's like stuff we've never booted up before. So it takes a while, but like there's some people in the comments just going crazy and like doing like 10 or 15 streams a day. But I'm like, I can't make all these public that fast. So I gotta, put that information in, and then just keep them unlisted until I want to do 5 a day, and eventually
That's
they'll
still
all be
a
out
lot.
there. That's still a lot. But the thing is everyone's saying, oh, I'm seeing all these live streams. I mean, for as many people as have said, it's annoying, we have gotten, more people saying, oh, this is really cool because I'd never saw this one, or I didn't know you guys did this. So it is, it's been interesting watching our numbers, because they've been going up significantly since we started doing this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because, if people are interested in the subject, in the game or whatever, they will watch, and it's not even the amount of views you get anymore. It's just about retention time, how long they watch.
Right.
And that's why, those marathon videos, the marathon videos that are just a compilation of videos that we've done before, those are just have generated more income or revenue than anything else that we have done, by a significant amount.
Wow, I had no idea.
Because 2 or 3 times more than anything else.
Because my understanding was, especially with the live streams, that it was more likely to hurt you than help you.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, that's what he thought, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I wonder if it's going to hurt us in that, Chris thinks it is because we're releasing so many. YouTube's oh, we're going to, these guys are just cranking out these videos.
Because I just think the algorithm is going to reward it. It rewards channels that
frequency.
release regular content.
Yeah,
And so from
that's
the
true.
algorithm's point of view, all of a sudden, Coury is releasing regular content. And so I just think it's giving
That
his
already
whole
have,
channel a boost.
5,000 views attached to it, because of I have no idea how it calculates views for live streams, because it makes no sense. I don't know if it's how many people scroll past it or how that works out, because it's significantly more than the amount of viewers we get.
Okay.
But I had the same thing
Right.
happen. When I was live streaming on my show, because it was on the side channel. I didn't have that many viewers while it was live, but
I don't know
tons
how
of
that-
people were
how it works
watching.
that out.
Well, no, just tons of people were watching it after the fact.
I mean, I think that these have that amount of views the next day. I mean, we get usually somewhere between 5 to 600, I think,
But
each
that's
week.
just concurrent
Yes,
viewers.
exactly.
They're not
And
the
I
same.
don't-
It's not the same 500 people for the whole stream. People are coming and going.
Right.
Oh, so maybe they count those. They're counting all those people as different views.
Of course.
Yeah, but I don't think there's 5,000 people coming and going every week.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that's a lot of people. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. There's just probably a lot of churn.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to end up hurting us in the long run. But as long as we start getting regular, normal
I think
edited videos out there, I should.
I was going to say, as long as you don't bury your regular videos, you know what I mean?
I was probably too late for that. Although we are getting lots of comments on other videos that are not live streams, more so than we are getting on live streams. I don't know. We may have just killed the channel. I don't know. I guess I
highly
will find out.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah. Just gonna ride high for the moment. And then
Yeah,
it's
just
going to be like the will or
hopefully
not.
that wave never crests.
Terrible mistake.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you say? We're at 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
turn
it's
that into
funny.
shop
I got,
talk
I
at
got
the end.
3
Sorry.
minutes and 50 seconds left on this memory card. before
Jesus,
it
like
switches
how
over
do you
to the
like?
other
I
one.
just formatted both cards before we started.
Dude, because I've been shooting video all day for this.
You are literally the kid that shows up at school and forgot his backpack at home.
Dude, listen. There's 2 memory cards. It was just cycle over to the other memory card. The reason, because I've been shooting video on this thing all day.
Okay, because you don't have any other memory cards, I'm sure.
There's 2 memory cards in this thing. Like as soon as that 3 minutes and 50 seconds is
And
up,
you're gonna- then you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
make-
get another 2
You're
hours
gonna
and
make me stitch the
50 minutes.
video back together, I'm sure.
I know.
Here, plebe.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you now, so that we got 3 minutes 49 seconds. Oh, you know what? No, we're out of time. It's saying 3 hours 49 minutes.
So it already switched over.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
So
let
might as
you.
well-
I'll let you put the two files together.
So I have
Maybe do
terrible
some color
news.
correction while you're at it.
When you said we record separately, I recorded audio. I never even thought to record video.
Well, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
We can just. I'll put your channel, your
We'll
artwork.
put,
The cartoon Greg.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking up at us, I guess.
Jesus.
You take a screenshot right now. It's all right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just.
Who cares?
Sorry about that.
Don't be.
Hey, really quick though.
I wish I could do remember when I don't know if you saw the episode where Coury was in the car, and
I didn't see. I listen to you guys. I don't watch you guys on YouTube. I only ever listen to you.
Okay, but you know what episode I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He was in the car. And so if you watch it on YouTube, it's still me. I had my camera, but of course he's driving. And so on his side of the screen, I just took like gameplay footage from every driving game I've ever captured and just used all that.
It's pretty good.
So
it's
what I
pretty
should
good.
do-
I like the wipeout.
What I should do
stuff.
for Greg is it should just be a bunch of hockey game footage.
Yeah, I think so.
I might actually
I think
do that.
so. Yeah. In fact, if you need help, I'll take some footage.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Coury, you said before we go, you got something
Yeah, well, I just wanted to
cooking
comment on something, like not comment on something, but I didn't get a chance to talk about the other day when we did this other one, but there's a grapevine in the corner of this house that we had never really checked out before, and we went out there last weekend. My wife and I went out there, and there was like a ridiculous amount of grapes growing on this thing.
Score.
And she's like making wine.
That's
You guys
awesome.
ever like
Nice.
made wine or like made your own beer before?
Do you even know what kind of grapes they are?
Wine grapes.
That's what I'm asking.
know.
Are they
Now.
even wine grapes? I mean,
Well, she's making wine. She got
I'm
like
not
a
sure
whole
how
kit
much
and
it
stuff,
really
and, like,
matters. I
there's-
mean, the sugar's the important part. That's what turns into alcohol.
Yeah, well, she's had them in there for she's been like working on them for like a week now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there was like a ridiculous amount of grapes though. I mean,
Yeah.
she made grape juice out of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and like we had so much that we put it in jars and gave it to friends, and froze some.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it would be really cool. I think it would be really cool if it became this side passion of hers.
Yeah.
And she made like this small batch of like really good wine
Yeah.
once a year that came from like the corner of our house.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Carlson Vineyards.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think it'd be fun. But that's all. I meant to mention it last week.
Yeah.
Or a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I just forgot. Like I think it's kind of neat.
No, it's definitely neat.
All right.
Is that gonna do it?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Greg, for hanging out.
Yeah. I hope it was all you were hoping for and more. I actually, and I say that to both of you because, like I said, Coury was so upset.
I will go to bed satisfied tonight.
That's all I can hope for. That's all I need to do.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you. Oh well, do you want to like plug your stuff?
I know. I was going to say, don't you want to give him the
yeah.
floor for a second? Good Lord. Sorry,
Jeez.
this is
Okay,
Corey's
sure.
first time recording a podcast.
I'm telling you, the talent. We have one on our show too. He just shows up,
Yep.
presses
Yeah.
record,
Yeah.
and then he leaves.
Right.
He's not involved in
Here
anything.
you go.
Like,
Here's
no,
here's
not
your,
at all.
he ceases to exist in any like.
I'm not even sure he's real. I think.
Have you
it
ever
might
seen
just
him
be
in
a-
person?
Yeah,
Maybe as a robot or a hologram.
that would be awesome. That'd be so cool.
He's like-
Listen, if you wanna listen to my podcast, it's playeronepodcast.com. Every Sunday night we record. Me and a couple other ex-Ziff Davis alumni. Been going now for 17 years on that one.
like, what was your
Yep.
what number was the last episode, or do you guys number your episodes?
We number them. It's 860 something. Wow. I think. Yeah. So
Did you even take a break during that time?
we like to say that we haven't missed a week, but we have. But I think we've only missed like 2 or 3 weeks total.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty proud of that. We're not all on each week, but that's the nice thing about having more than 2 hosts, because if one can't make it, you don't have to find a guest necessarily that week. But yeah, Player One Podcast, please check that out. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sewart, where you can find Generation 16, which is my chronological gaming series about the Genesis and the Laser Active, apparently. And please consider checking out Twitch TV/Sewart Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights. I stream there to raise money for Extra Life. Again, going for that $100,000 raised for my local children's hospital this year. We're going to do it. We're going to hit it.
You're almost there. I mean,
we're close.
In like literally every donation. Like, I mean, I remember seeing it like on Twitter all the time. You know, every donation that comes in is for Extra Life.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, people subscribe as well, but the Twitch channel exists to raise money for Extra Life and for the IWK Center here in Halifax.
Have you had a conversation with them yet? Like, at what point do we start talking about getting like a wing named after you or something?
I have had lots of conversations with them. Normally, because Extra Life obviously isn't just me and for the IWK, but I'm usually the top fundraiser. So when they do their telethon every year, they usually have an Extra Life check presented, and they generally reach out and ask if I want to do it. I don't always say yes, but so I have dealt with the IWK Foundation a fair amount over the last 10 years or so. They're great. They love it. But one of them actually did say, like, the thing that I want to say don't like it about Extra Life, because that makes it sound negative. But you don't, it's a lot of money, but it's not one big donor. So it's not the same as like when you go in to the hospital and you see the wall of, the angels and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So we don't get that kind of recognition, but that's
you
fine.
Play the long game.
I'm all about the long game. Yeah. That's why I have 7 different videos going that I edit 2 minutes a piece every day.
That's pretty good. That's better than I do. 2 minutes. I mean, if I could do 2 minutes of video every day,
that's like 2 hours, isn't it, of work? 2 minutes.
Probably more than that. I mean, most of the time. It depends on how much
because you guys have to put in the sound effects for plugging stuff in. That takes extra time. Yeah.
It's got to be the Mario pulling out the
right.
Like stuff out of the ground in Mario 2 sound effect every time you plug something in.
I mean, I've plugged something in on camera a million times and it never makes that noise.
No,
dude, can you imagine if
is that a mod you had done to your consoles or something that does that?
You could make
if somebody wants to mod my system to actually do that, I would absolutely pay for that. If that was an option.
That'd be pretty cool.
And it didn't require you to put it have a battery to power it or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, even if the system just has to be on and it would make that sound every time, I would 100% do that.
There's got to be a modder out there that'll do that.
Yeah. Don't do it with one of my systems. I'll send you a system that's untouched.
Or just do it to like an N64 or something, because who cares?
That would save me
who plays
so
that?
much. Save me so much time from putting those sound effects in.
I can't even imagine if I was doing that on my show, because I would be sitting there being like, no, that's the one frame to the left. Mm-hmm. No, that's still not the right spot. Let me go another frame. That's too far. Go back to the right.
Yeah. Well, if it's if it's long enough, it could be. I mean, well, that's. I mean, I do struggle with that. I want to say, because it's like you plug something in. Does it make the sound effect when it first goes in, or when you maybe lock it in?
That's what I'm saying. Right.
I mean, that's
where's the spot?
Yeah,
I mean, I spent
the
last time I did an episode of YouTube's Hottest New Show, I spent so much time just looking for a sound effect I like for when the thing comes on the screen that says "Hot New."
Dude, all you need to do is just put the food sound from Streets of Rage every single time.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, that is the best video game sound effect of all time, and it really
I'm going
to
do it because I haven't
sound effect, but
I haven't done it.
Better.
I just barely started editing the show today, so
yeah. I'm going to problem solving. Look at that.
I'm going to do that. Well, that's what
Anything
we're synergizing.
Yeah, you do that, or the Extra Life from Revenge of Shinobi or Streets of Rage, like any of the,
I just want something that's more
effects.
funnier than like food. Someone throwing food at the wall, kind of thing. Something like.
Yeah, Toe Jam and Earl.
Not like farting. That's going too far. I don't want any kind of gas.
Yeah.
Burping.
No, the tomato sound effect from Toe Jam and Earl.
All right, I gotta write this stuff down.
He's like, oh, Jesus.
Hey, man, at least I got my cool
Listen,
reporter man.
the Toe Jam and Earl sound effects might be on my NAS.
No, I'm saying at least I have my cool thing to write my stuff in. What are you writing on over there? You know?
Empty beer cans.
Yeah. Empty, no, you know, this, I got this notebook that like says.
Notebook.
It says notebook on it.
That's like people who have that sign in their kitchen that says
Listen, this is made from entirely like recycled materials though.
Including the coil?
Maybe.
Dude, this whole notebook is recycled. It used to be a tree. Duh.
I think this is like from other notebooks. I don't know. I'll tell you, like, there is something to be said about planning your day or your week on these things.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it made a big difference.
I need something like that because I want to come home and then be like, oh man, I really want to eat some junk food and then lay in bed and watch YouTube till I fall asleep. But my notebook says I have to work on my show. Oh well, got to do it.
I just put like one like thing for the show. It's like here's the video I'm working
my
on.
notebook says I don't have time to feel be in a constant state of existential dread this evening. So let me fire up Capture Cart and get to work.
It's amazing though that YouTube videos can make you feel that way.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're done.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
We're done here.
Absolutely. Take care.